I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian.
And we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers. Oh, you can't see my left hand.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Can you tell it's a Monday and we should be at work, but we're not, so we're a little doo-doo-doo today.
See, it is a Monday.
Somebody
has a case of the Mondays.
Somebody does. Hopefully, not many people. Well, I was going to say hopefully not many people are working, but I technically should be working today, but I had a doctor's appointment, so...
Happy Labor Day, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you're not working today.
I hope you're not working today either. Special shout out, Happy Labor Day to the moms of the world.
Yeah.
The birthing people of the
always
world.
Always working. Always.
That was one hell of a labor, wasn't it? Hurdy, her. All right, baby. What did you love about this week?
This week, well, I just went on a hike.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
You and Patty went hiking.
Yeah, you could see all the way around us where we were at. Hiked up to the top of this mountain and 360 view.
I mean,
really
even
cool.
Steve Harvey said it once. Like, if you have not been to the Blue Ridge Parkway in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park,
Yeah.
I mean, my heart is in the ocean. It always will be, but it is a stunning area that we live in. Oh, you're messing with my ear holes.
Sorry. Are you good now?
No.
No.
Oh, wait, get back on the mic.
Are you good now?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
you. All right. We're working out kinks,
Sorry,
people.
my ear hole was out too.
We're working out kinks. It's all right.
Dangle clacks, as Grim Green would say. Them dang danglers.
You gonna ask me what I loved about this week, Bill?
What did you love about this week, baby?
That's a damn good question. It's my birth month.
Man, that Ahsoka episode was really good.
Fucking Ahsoka, man. So excited.
We've been
that
watching
that
Ahsoka.
started. I'm also excited that a new season of SWAT came out on Netflix. Cause hey,
Yeah.
Shamar, how you doing? Yeah, it's my birth month though. I try not to get excited about my birthday because I'm an adult and people are like, "Oh, you're an adult. You're going to have plenty of birthdays." Hurdy her.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you
it
know
should
what?
still be special.
I'm going to be that age where I can say, "I'm not old. I'm only 37." And I'm really freaking excited about that, okay?
My name is Dennis.
All right, guys. Go ahead and put a trigger warning out there. This episode is more true crime than paranormal. I Googled international cults because I wanted to do a cult. And then for some reason, I landed on the Children of God. Unfortunately.
I think I've seen a documentary about it.
Probably.
We'll see when you get into it. I'll be like, oh, yeah.
There is quite a bit of discussion about sexual abuse of children.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing super graphic, but sex is a large part of this cult. It was deemed a sex cult for a long time.
Gross.
So if that is not your thing, no hard feelings. We'll see you next week.
Right.
I didn't enjoy the research for this. I don't want to do this, but by the time I got to the nitty gritty of shit, there was no way for me to pick something else to do this week. So
Right.
we're going to power through this, folks.
Yay.
We're going to power through this. All right. The Children of God cult was founded by David Berg in 1967. It has been known by many names, including Teens for Christ, the Family of Love, and the Family. Today it is known as the Family International.
Are there several cults with the family name?
There are a few other cults with the family name as well. I want to say the Manson family went by the family for a while. And then there's also a cult in Australia where they just kidnapped kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're also called the family.
Because the documentary I've seen, I'm pretty sure that's what they called them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of cults that are like, "Oh, we're a family. This is our family. The family. Blah, blah, blah."
Right.
But you heard that right. This cult is still around today.
Yeah.
Allegedly, in 2010, they restructured the group and now claim to be only online. They've had thousands of members over the years, including River and Joaquin Phoenix and their family, Rose McGowan and her family, and former member of Fleetwood Mac, Jeremy Spencer, who is still a member today.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and he mostly does like illustrations and books.
Yeah.
David Berg was born on February 18th, 1919 in Oakland, California. And I don't know how to say his dad's name, but I'm going to try. I think it's like Heimler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to parents Heimler Emanuel Berg and Virginia Lee Brandt. Brandt. Heimler and Virginia were kicked out of the Disciples of Christ after they testified that Virginia had divine powers of healing. They became traveling evangelicals after becoming disillusioned with the politics of denominational churches.
Oh man, that reminds me of the Ghost song that he just did about the video was about an evangelical guy.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Well,
It was the Phil Collins song that he did.
oh yeah, that's
It was
right.
funny.
Well, they took David on the road with them and finally settled in Miami, Florida. There are claims that David's family were abusive. Some sources state that he was beaten for the smallest transgression, including when he began exploring his own body sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like to think about it, but at a fairly young age, your kids start noticing that, like, hey, if I touch myself here, that feels kind of good.
Right.
And it's not like they're getting sexual gratification out of it like an adult would,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a natural part of your kid exploring their body and figuring out what they like and don't like.
Sure.
Other sources state that he himself was a victim of incest and sexual assault from his parents, and as they say, hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely no excuse for the shit that he did later on in life,
Right.
but it definitely gives you an idea of how he became what he became.
Yeah.
Being dependent upon their parishioners, the family struggled to make ends meet. This led David to live frugally within his own life and encourage his followers to be as frugal as well. Like his father, David became a minister in the Christians and Missionary Alliance. He was placed in Valley Farms, Arizona, and was later expelled for differences in teachings and allegations of sexual misconduct with a church employee. David claimed that he was let go because he wanted to diversify the congregation, but according to the LA Times, in later years would preach to his followers that black and Jewish Americans had a conspiracy to ruin America. So, okay. I think it said that, like, he claimed that it was because he wanted to invite indigenous people into the congregation, and I'm like, did you? Did you really? David and his family, his wife and kids, spent some time in Miami running a branch of the Soul Clinic. He was forced out of town and moved to a different branch due to trouble with the law over his aggressive disapproval of evolution being taught as fact in schools.
Oh my God.
I love that it said aggressive disapproval. I'm like, yeah, he was showing his ass.
Right.
In 1976, David and his family were running a coffee shop in Huntington Beach, California. They began a group called Christ for Teens, which they ran out of the shop. Many of the followers in the beginning were quote unquote born again hippies. Many were teens that had ran away to California during the free love hippie era, and David leaned heavily on this in his teachings. There would be a group of teens and young adults that would go out and preach on the street. You know those type. Jesus loves you. Except
the
for
end
in
is
this
coming.
case, in this case, it was like Jesus loves you and wants to put it in your butt. I gotta have some humor in this because this is real fucked up.
Right.
In 1969, David claimed to get a vision from the heavens that California would be destroyed by a massive earthquake.
I mean, he might be right about that one.
Yeah, but it didn't happen in 1969, that's for sure. So he took his followers and hit the road. In reality, local churches had been vocally against his group, even going so far as picketing them. Due to the group, I don't know why it says due at the beginning of that. The group traveled around handing out pamphlets teaching about Jesus and proclaiming that the end was near.
Them pamphlets, man.
I tell you that every time. And I'm not sure exactly when he made the prophecy that the world would end, like what year he actually made the prophecy, but in one source it said that he said that the world was going to end in like 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, dude.
I guess for like Kurt Cobain. or
That's fucked up.
or the Sublime guy.
Bradley.
Brad.
So
That's horrible.
Up. That is horrible. They would also do street performances. Music was a big part of their cult.
Mm-hmm.
They would do street performances and panhandle to get food and money. They claimed that in 8 months, their membership grew to over 200 members.
Wow.
And in 1970, they returned to California. David set about creating communes. Mm-hmm. Each commune had 12 adults. Each had their own specific role within the group, or within the quote-unquote family. They were encouraged to quit their jobs and give all they had to the group. Classic cult.
Right.
David controlled each part of their lives down to how much toilet paper they were allowed to use.
Huh.
And what's funny is that he didn't live in any of these places. He had his own place, but people rarely ever actually physically saw David.
He started the toilet paper
debacle. Right? You know, it's funny, when I saw that, it made me think of that episode of Supernatural where they were like in Croatoanville.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Chuck was like, hoard toilet paper like gold.
So it's not just from the pandemic.
Right. He stated that there would be no individual families, that they were all one large family, and he was the leader of it.
I mean, wiping your butt's priceless. Like,
I guess.
I ain't going back to Scott.
No. Okay. Listen, I don't understand people that can use one-ply toilet paper.
Right.
Because it don't make no sense. You're like, oh, well, it's more toilet paper. And I'm like, but I have to use twice as much.
Right.
To wipe my big ass. So give me some Cottonelle or something.
Roll it around your hand.
Yep, right. Like literally, I've been in bathrooms where, like, especially in like restaurants and stuff and in school.
Yeah.
Where you just like take the end of it and just jerk it and let it run out.
Yeah.
And then you like have this big old wad to wipe your ass with. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
David himself was a bit of a recluse. So to keep control of his members all over the country, then the world, each commune had a shepherd. They were meant to be picked by those that lived within the commune, but they were 100% loyal to David and made sure that his mandates were followed to a T. David began writing what was known as the Mo letters, so named as he began going by many names, including Moses David.
Ugh.
Yeah. He wrote over 3,000 letters in his time as the leader of the group. These letters would spell out what he expected from members, giving detailed instructions on how he wanted them to behave and act. In one such letter, he claimed that God was going to destroy the United States because it's modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, and that it was time to expand to different countries. This led to over 120 communes being started in over 70 countries across the globe.
Wow.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. In reality, law enforcement was taking a hard look at this group, with many calling it what it was, a cult.
I bet they were. I bet the FBI was looking at them,
Mm-hmm.
going, what?
Parents had begun taking it upon themselves to kidnap their children back from the group so that they could have them deprogrammed. And that was one of the main things that people are like, oh, nope, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
David claimed to be a prophet for the end of times, as the apocalypse would happen around 1993.
I wonder if any of them were on Springer.
What?
Jerry Springer.
Why would they be on Jerry Springer?
The whole, like, deprogramming thing.
Yo, Jerry Springer was trash. I don't even know what you're talking about. He was like,
I love Springer.
He was like all right back in the day, like way back in the day when he first started, but it did not take long for that show to take a fucking left turn, okay? He also claimed to have a spirit god named Abraham that would send him spiritual messages from God. In 1976, David began promoting a method he called flirty fishing to convert new members. He sent detailed instructions of how the women were to go out and show men the message of Jesus' love by having sex with them. He claimed that it was divine to do so using the passage Matthew chapter 4 verse 8, follow me and I will make you fishers of men.
Right.
One of the Phoenix children states that this is around the time that their family left the cult because they got this notice and their parents were like, we're not doing that shit.
It just shows you how, like, you could take specific parts of the Bible and, like, pretty much say anything you want with it.
Exactly. Over time, this changed from, them just going out and meeting men in bars to women being made to do so as money to women being made to do so for money as escorts.
Right.
According to the group, they fished over 200,000 men and claimed to have converted around 20,000 through this method.
Jesus.
Right. Jesus. This method.
Them guys didn't care.
No. This method would be stopped in around 1987 due to the AIDS pandemic.
Right.
David met a woman named Karen Derby at some point, and she became his secretary. Over time, he started an affair with her, and since he was already married with 4 kids, he began preaching about polyamory.
Right.
This was probably a little bit before the flirting fishing began, but it opened a door to pain and abuse that would be the lasting legacy of this group.
Mm-hmm.
The cult didn't believe in medicine, so birth control, even condoms, were condemned. Due to that, the flirty fishing and people being encouraged to sleep with whoever they wanted to at any age, there were many children born into the cult.
Right.
Allegedly, over 10,000 babies were born into the cult from the 70s to the early 2000s.
Holy crap.
Yeah. One of the first children born into the cult was by David's second wife, Karen, and was fathered by a man she had fished. In 1978, the group was allegedly disbanded, but in reality, they simply had a name change. They became the Family of Love. And this is where the abuse really ramped up.
Right.
David began encouraging his members to let their children explore their sexuality at any age. David claimed that God had created children to be able to have children around the age of 12. But there were reports that it happened to children all the way in infancy.
Jesus.
I told you I really did not want to do this case. David himself abused many young girls, including his daughters and his granddaughters.
That's gross.
It's disgusting. I'm glad he's dead because I'd kill him.
Right.
Moe's letters would have instructions and drawings that were done in a comic book style so that the younger children could be taught.
That's horrible.
He began encouraging sharing between all of his members, stating that letting their children explore their sexuality at any age was a natural way to raise children.
That's sick.
And like I said earlier, like, kids as young as 2 and 3, like, if they're doing something and they, like, get bumped in the crotch, they may think, oh, that feels good.
Right, but they don't know.
But they don't understand why, and it's not like they're literally going out looking for sexual gratification.
Mm-mm.
And they sure as hell aren't doing it with adults.
Nope.
Richard Kyle wrote in The Religious Fringe, A History of Alternative Religion in America, quote, "The free expression of sexuality included fornication, adultery, lesbianism, though not male homosexuality, and incest were not just permitted, but encouraged." End quote.
So they let females be gay, but not the males?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And if you notice, this is still a thing today. Like, I bet you've noticed at work, guys will be like,
sure.
oh, these 2 women,
sure.
Yeah. But if you bring up anything about male homosexuality, they're like, oh, no, man, that's fucking gross.
Anytime the fellas do that, I'm sitting there going, why?
Like, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? It's the same, like, it's not the same sex, but, like, it's the same sex regardless of what sex it is.
Right.
Like, it's just stupid, but
I definitely challenge their opinions on it.
porn has made these people so,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, every woman must want to fuck every other woman. Like, most of us do, yeah, but that's just because y'all are shit.
Right. Because most guys are stupid with opinions like that.
Yeah, because women know what other women like in bed, and most
Sure.
men are just after their own gratification.
Right.
Not my husband, but that's a different day.
Yeah, I'm unique in my opinions.
Sometimes you find a good man who puts his woman first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drink some water. We need this. This is so nasty.
Hydro homies, as Grim Green would say. I got that one from Grim Green. I love Grim Green.
He does love Grim Green. In 1982, the group changed its name again to just The Family. Around this time, when music videos were becoming popular, they began recording songs and even had a broadcast. Most of the music was simple Christian rock, but a few of them had lyrics about their extreme beliefs.
I've always been kind of sketchy at Christian rock.
I really enjoyed Christian rock when I was in the church.
I mean, I'm sure some of them are like awesome. Like I definitely know that some of their music is awesome. Like
it is. I mean, I went to this thing called the Passion of Christ.
Yeah.
About 12 years ago, and we had like I can't remember any of their names now. Like I remember Chris Tomlin, and there was like a bunch of other really cool bands that were there, and their music was great.
I went and moshed at a Christian rock show when I was in middle school.
That's pretty fun.
I think the band was called AMPM or something.
But I remember a couple of years ago somebody said something about like, especially the new agey Christian music, it's just the same phrases over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it's a slight form of brainwashing.
Right.
Like it really, really is.
Yeah. I could see that.
And you also had to think when they started doing that, it was 1980s. Yeah, 1982. Jeremy Spencer joined them in like 1970s. The guy from Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that helped with their music becoming popular.
Sure.
Now, allegedly around this time, they sent out a notice that sexual relations between adults and children was strictly forbidden and grounds for excommunication. But one father in 1988 told 2020 that the drawings and letters were simply educational material.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not.
No.
You know, that's the one thing. Like, we let Patty watch scary stuff to a point.
Yeah.
We let her watch stuff with, like, people getting shot, people getting ripped apart. I mean, I love watching SWAT.
Yeah.
I don't care if she's in there or not for it, but sexual stuff.
The most she's watches
5.
people kissing.
Yeah, she
like,
sees people kissing, she'll be like, oh.
Robin and Starfire.
Or Star and Marco from Star versus the Forces of Evil.
That one was a cute one.
Now, in 1933, former member Ricky Dupre went on the Larry King Show to speak out about his experience. Larry asked him how he knew the policies were real. Ricky replied, quote, "Because I was ordered in the group to have sex with a 10-year-old by the leadership of the group," end quote. He went on to elaborate that the leadership would force people to do things like that so they wouldn't be tempted to leave the group and tell outsiders about what was going on.
Because then they could frame them, huh?
Well,
not frame them, but like...
Yeah, they could be like,
could
well, you did
them.
it.
Right.
Like, how are you trying to come at us for doing this stuff when you were involved in it? Yeah, you didn't give them a choice.
Yeah.
Like, it was
That's
either
horrible.
do this or something terrible is going to happen to them. Ricky, like many ex-members of the cult...
something horrible happened to all of them.
Right. Ricky, like many ex-members of the cult, later died by suicide.
Living with the guilt.
Yeah. River Phoenix told Detail magazine in 1991 that he lost his virginity at the age of 4.
Jesus.
4.
River Phoenix?
River Phoenix. Yeah.
I knew he had problems, but, you know...
But did not elaborate because he had blocked the experience out. Many people believe that the trauma and abuse he experienced within the cult led to his drug use and subsequent overdose and death.
I'm sure.
I can't imagine.
Right.
So now, like, when I see Joaquin Phoenix, I'm like, you're allowed to be a little crazy.
Or see him in Indiana Jones when he was in there.
Who?
River Phoenix. He was in
yeah.
I want to say he was in the third movie.
Well, his brother is Joaquin Phoenix. You know,
Right.
he played Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, he's a little off his rocker. Well, he fucking grew up in the Children of God cult.
Right.
So,
I didn't know that.
Rose McGowan did too.
Right.
Like, and I didn't find anything about any sexual assault that she endured, even though I'm not saying that it didn't happen.
Right.
But she was beaten.
Wow.
Fairly regularly.
That's
as
crazy.
A child. Yeah. David's own child, Ricky Rodriguez, was pictured observing couples having sex in orgies, as well as him being assaulted by different women as a toddler.
Dang. It's crazy.
Ricky left the cult as an adult, and around the age of 29, Ricky tried to get into contact with the leadership of the group, but could only get through a woman who used to be a nanny for him, and allegedly was one of the people to abuse him. He proceeded to invite her over, and after she arrived, he killed her by stabbing her to death and then took his own life.
Dang.
Ricky had recorded a video prior to his death that made its way to the Times. They wrote about it that, quote, he said he saw himself as a vigilante avenging children like him and his sisters who had been subjected to rape and beatings, end quote.
Right.
And I could 100% see.
Sure.
Like, I'm like, yeah, fucking kill her.
Yep.
Like, if she did that to you, any child that makes it through child sexual assault, once they become adult, let them have 5 minutes in a locked room with an assortment of torture tools and their abuser.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Or better yet, when it happens, instead of sending them to jail, put them in a room with the parents of the child that was assaulted.
Yeah.
And give them 5 minutes
That'd be even worse.
Go to fucking down. Because I'm telling you right now, if something ever happened to our child,
yeah.
I've already told Patty, if anybody hurts you, like really, really hurts you, I look good in orange. Okay?
Right.
I have no problem going to prison to protect my child.
Yeah.
Don't think I won't murder somebody. Plus, I have very large uncles that are Irish. And 23 cousins, so fuck around and find out.
Well, you got me too.
Yeah, I got you too. But the Ireland side of my family, we've always been ready to like murder somebody over.
You know I like using handheld weapons. I like samurai swords.
Yeah. Let's see. After David's death in 1994, Karen, or Mama Maria, as she was also known, took over control of the group. They wrote up a set of rules and regulations that outline each member's responsibilities and rights, called the Love Charter. They also wrote up a set of criteria for each commune, and they would be reviewed against these criteria each 6 months. They began allowing people to become self-employed, as well as getting their own single-family homes.
If there's so much like documentation on this cult, how did they get away with this stuff for so long?
They just kept moving around. They just kept ping-ponging around. And, like, there is documentation of it, but it's, like, people that got out.
Right.
And went. And it wasn't like they had, like, physical proof of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, when you do get out of a cult, it takes a
just
long
instructional
time for you to get deprogrammed.
Sure.
From that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why nobody ever actually went, no, that's not true. There was a guy in Scotland, I believe, one of the communes in Scotland, and he went to prison for, like, a smorgasbord of sexual assault charges against children.
Right.
Like, I read a few paragraphs of that, and I was like, I already got enough bullshit in here. I cannot add this.
If you guys knew how much Felicia, like, did not like researching this one, you guys should have been here, because she was all the way through it. She was just like, I don't like doing this.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a paranormal podcast.
I don't want this. I didn't want to do this.
This kind of shit is exactly why I chose to do a paranormal podcast.
Sure.
Versus doing a true crime podcast.
True crime's kind of,
because it's
I don't
rough
know.
and it's hard, and I am so passionate about protecting children, and not like the people who are like, protect the children, like,
more like protect the children.
right, like this kind of stuff makes me sick.
Yeah.
It really especially having a child,
Mm-hmm.
a daughter
Yeah.
at that, I will murder someone.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now,
Oh, I know.
the group came up with the term loving Jesus. You don't know what loving Jesus is, Bill?
What's loving Jesus?
This takes the concept
It's
of...
not smoking weed with him, is it?
No.
Okay.
That would be much more fun.
I mean, that's what I picture.
This is just
Loving
fucking
Jesus.
weird. Okay. This takes the bride of Christ mentality to another level. They are encouraged to picture Jesus joining them when they have sex or when they would masturbate.
Oh, that's weird.
Men were told to picture themselves as a meek woman.
You know what I picture whenever you tell me that?
What?
Like, remember Al Pacino in that one movie? I think it's Devil's Advocate. He's like taking the mom and the daughter, having sex with them.
No.
See,
I don't think I've seen that movie.
like, I don't know. It's more like Satan than Jesus. You know what I mean?
Well, they would say that
But-
Satan hated sex, but Jesus loved it.
What?
That's what they say.
All right, that is bizarre, man.
Yeah, that was their whole thing, and this sex cult is like, Satan hates sex. You shouldn't do that, but Jesus wants you to fuck.
See, if I had been in the cult, I'd have been like, nope, y'all are full of shit.
So you're supposed to picture Jesus having sex with you while you're having sex,
Okay,
or if you're masturbating.
I'm gonna humor this.
Men
or
were
get
told,
humor from it.
men were told to picture themselves as a woman so that they would not have a homosexual relationship with Jesus.
What? This is so bizarre.
I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, though. Like, you literally have a dick that you're either stroking or you're putting into another woman, into a woman's hole.
Chicks with dicks.
How are you supposed to, like, I don't know how that's supposed to work.
You're a chick with a dick.
I guess. Jeez. Nowadays, the group has claimed to be strictly online. They are still preaching the love of Jesus and trying to find warriors for the war of good versus evil.
All right.
And they are called the Family. It's like the familyinternational.com or .org or something like that. Like, I went on their website and I was like, holy shit.
Right. They're like, no, I don't want to be here.
I do not want to be there.
Back out.
They claim to have spiritual helpers that include angels and other mythical creatures, mythical figures such as Aphrodite and Merlin, and dead celebrities such as Elvis and Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, God.
Elvis is like, I want you to picture yourself
with Jesus.
With Jesus. What? And Merlin?
Oh, God. Nana's rolling over in her grave.
I'm surprised we don't hear something crashing from out there. She's like, what the hell are you talking about, Jim?
Right.
Elvis.
It's like several pictures fly off the wall in the living room.
They go by the Family International now and claim to only have around 2,000 members globally. They have also claimed to give up many of their extreme beliefs and no longer encourage child abuse, allegedly.
Right.
They are doing their best to separate themselves from what David had started, but I don't know if they will ever truly be able to get away from his legacy.
Right.
As for Karen, the last time she was seen was in Mexico in 2010, and no one knows where she is today or if she's even still alive. If you know someone today that might be falling into the trap of a cult, there are many resources available online. Literally, all you have to type is, how do I help someone leave a cult? How do I leave a cult?
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
It's very complicated. Unfortunately, with the advent of the internet and social media, it is much easier for people to fall in them, and it makes it even harder for these people to get out.
I'm sure.
And that's like, M did their story on QAnon And
Yeah.
it's kind of scary how hard it is for people to get away from QAnon.
I was watching a video last night of a guy that was he was being stalked by a hacker, and the guy was a YouTube show, or the guy had his own gaming YouTube show.
Yeah.
Well, he did he originally was like trying to get an interview with this hacker because he was doing a story on him. Well, the hacker didn't like it, so he turned around and gave him a copyright strike on his YouTube for copyright infringement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to counter this strike, I guess, like to get it taken away, the guy had to send the hacker his name and email address so he could prove that his YouTube wasn't copyrighting the other guy's thing.
Yeah.
So like it's like horrible because like he had to send him his information to get it taken down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You don't want to send a hacker your information.
You really don't. You really, really don't. And it's honestly, if they're any good of a hacker,
it's hard, internet wise to like
get away from
people that are predatory.
Because I say the internet's forever.
Yep.
The internet's forever.
Well, and it's so easy to get information. Like the hacker knew that he had to send his information to him.
Yeah.
That's why he did it.
The hacker probably already knew his information anyways. He just wanted him to send it to him.
Right, and that tell him that he already knows it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't know.
The online cult thing has become a really big problem since COVID.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were trapped in their house, and we are communal creatures by nature.
Didn't have anything better to do.
We are meant to have a community and be with people. And it was very, very easy to just sit on your computer or your phone all day and get wrapped up in these groups. And when that's the soundboard that you're hearing.
I know I deep dived into a bunch of stuff when I was staying at the house.
Like when all you're hearing is these people on the internet telling you stuff, and it's so easy to make fake shit on the internet.
Sure.
It is so easy to make fake stuff, and with AI and stuff, deep fakes are amazing. Like my boss at work showed me a video that was made with a picture of his stepdaughter. Like her mom had taken a picture and it made a whole video, her mouth moving, her head moving, everything.
Wow.
And I was like, that's some scary shit right there.
It surely is.
Like, that's some real scary shit right there.
Well, it's like whenever I looked up myself on IMDb and like the movie that I was in, and it was like some British guy that was born in like 1960 or 1916.
Well, I think that's just an operator error on their part.
But anybody can really edit it.
Yeah.
It's the same with like Wikipedia.
Well, I don't know if anybody can edit IMDb, but I know that Wikipedia is definitely like that.
Yeah.
Even though Wikipedia has tightened that quite a bit.
Sure.
Like there's times that I've went on pages on Wikipedia for research, and it'll have like this bold thing on the top that's like misinformation in this. Like there's information in this that needs to be verified for sources and stuff like that. So,
sure.
But it is a little terrifying the way that the world is going with...
don't come at us, YouTube.
Yeah, don't come at us, YouTube. We're fine. Daddy YouTube, as Bailey likes to call it.
Yep.
All right, well, that was traumatizing.
Yep.
That was real. I left out a lot of, like, really bad shit.
Oh, I know. I think I did see the documentary on that one.
It
was horrible. What they did.
It's like vomit inducing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine somebody doing anything like that to a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and to have to grow up in that.
I know, it's like totally messes you up probably.
It destroys you.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been dozens of people that got out of that cult that grew up in it as a child that have committed suicide.
Right.
Because of the trauma they had to endure within that cult.
Sure.
And if anybody listening to this now or in the future was ever a part of this, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm real sorry because that shit's terrible.
Yeah.
Or if anybody's been in any kind of cult where they had to deal with this shit, I'm sorry.
Yep.
That shit is
Yeah, I'm sure there's
terrible.
many more cults that have the same kind of vibe to them.
Maybe. I was freaked out when I learned that there was a cult in Rutherford County for a hot minute, which is
Right.
not far from us.
There was one up at Maggie Valley at the Biodome.
Oh yeah, the Hemp Hill.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Biodome up on Hemp Hill, and the
Yep.
Biodome's still up there. I'm not sure if people still live there or not.
I think they do. I think that one's still going.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're as bad as this, because I remember
No.
going to school with some kids that lived up there, and like they had weird rules.
They're
and
more
had
just
to, like,
kind of like a commune.
they had to like all wear certain colors,
Mm-hmm.
which was real bizarre.
Yeah.
Real bizarre to know that there was a commune cult so close to us.
Yeah, they live in a big, like a big bubble house.
It's a biodome.
It's a biodome.
If anybody's from the 90s has seen Biodome, you know what a biodome is.
Yep,
It was a great movie, by the way.
it is.
Love me some
Polly
Pauly
Shore.
Shore.
The Weasel.
All right, guys, you can follow us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, both at The Paranormal Lovers, and you can send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com.
Let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think. Send us some topic suggestions, because, I mean, I got Google, but I'd like to know what other people would like to hear about as well.
Definitely.
And I apologize for doing this episode. That's all I can say.
Sorry, you guys had to sit through that one.
Yeah, I know this one's definitely more true crime than paranormal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to look a little better at the cults before I actually start the research on the shit.
It's all right. I liked your first cold episode.
Oh, Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate.
It had been a hot minute since I'd done a cult, so I was like, I need to do a cult. And
Right.
then I don't know why the hell I picked this one.
So I need to do a conspiracy theory because I haven't done them yet.
Unfortunately, I think with cults, there's going to be crime.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be crime. This one's just a nastier crime.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next week, and you guys have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.